we have done is directly compared from the FBI's website, so these are the numbers that were actually submitted to the federal government, the crime rates of these various cities, so that we can compare both the violent crime rate and the property crime rate. You know that we consistently hear Topeka is a violent town. That's what you hear, that's what you read, that's what you see about the crime in the city of Topeka. The reality of the matter is, Salem, Oregon had 519 violent crimes in 2011, since that's the last, obviously, full year we can compare, and Boise, Idaho had 510. Topeka, Kansas at 703 is in effect the third safest city of those capital cities with regard to violent crime. Now, that's not to say that 703 violent crimes is acceptable. It clearly is not. We have a lot of work to do. But we need to know what the comparison rates are to some of these other cities. Hartford, 1,600. Tallahassee, 1,600. Jackson, Mississippi, 1,600. Little Rock, Arkansas, 2,900 violent crimes. And these cities are basically in this range, the same size as Topeka, although some of them do have larger departments and have more officers per thousand population than we have.
That's when it started. We started with a violent crime initiative. We put officers in that initiative for a 60-day period to try to prevent and reduce the violent crime, and it was pretty successful. So what we had to do after that was work with the FOP on the selection of officers, because the FOP represents all the officers with regard to the terms and conditions of employment. So by working with the lodge, we were able to create this new unit and have it become part of the labor agreement and determine and negotiate the selection processes and the time that the officers spent in the unit and how long they were there, and deal with all of those issues. So it was truly a collaborative effort between the police department and the labor organization for the benefit of the community. That's exactly right. We have a unit specifically focused on violent crime, street crime, gangs, guns, drugs, violent crime. That's their mandate. If it's got to do with gangs, guns, and drugs and street crime, that's what they work on. And they have pretty good latitude to deal with wherever that takes them. Gangs who deal drugs, or violent individuals who are not gang members, or known convicted felons in possession of firearms. And I would say in the last 5 years, we have removed from the streets of Topeka over 200 convicted felons who were in possession of firearms after they received their felony conviction. So these are guys that are convicted felons who've done time in prison, who got out, who came back to our community, and were in possession of firearms committing another crime. And so part of what we're trying to do is send those individuals away from our community. And that's done in partnership with the federal government, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms organization, and the United States Attorney. So those guys get prosecuted in federal court and get sent away. So those are the kind of things that we need to do to reduce violent crime. Is 85% of the crime is committed by 5% of the population. What we really need to do is target those 5%ers and get them out of here, literally one at a time, and we can reduce the number of predators that are in our community.
Now that 5%.
The picture I would paint of Topeka is a mid-size, Midwestern conservative community. I don't think Topeka has any more problem than other cities our size. In fact, the chart would support that. But Topeka certainly has its share of problems that we have to deal with as a community. And by making public safety a priority, the other things that come after that will improve economic development, population, recreational opportunities, attracting businesses. There's an old saying that says you cannot be a great city if you're not a safe city. And I personally don't think that Topeka, Kansas is perceived as a safe community, but we are working to make it a safer community, and will continue to do so.